Okay, so let's try and unpack this story. It's quite something. Imagine pouring, what, $88 million into this state-of-the-art climate satellite?
Hmm?
MethaneSAT, backed by a huge grant from Jeff Bezos' Earth Fund.
A really significant investment.
Yeah, exactly. It launched just over a year ago, March 2024. Crucial mission, tracking methane emissions precisely. Then, well, silence. June 20th this year, 2025, the signal's lost. And the operator, the Environmental Defense Fund, EDF, they're saying it's likely not recoverable.
A definite blow.
Seems like a total loss, right? This high-stakes climate tool, gone.
It really is an undeniable setback, no question. Especially when you think about what MethaneSAT was supposed to do. This wasn't, just any satellite. It was seriously advanced, one of the most sophisticated methane trackers ever built. It had these high-sensitivity spectrometers on board. Think of them like spectralized analyzers that can spot and measure gases from orbit.
Across huge areas, right?
Exactly, across wide swaths. Its main job was watching methane, particularly from oil and gas operations. And methane, for context for you listening, it's responsible for about a third of the warming humans have caused. We talk a lot about CO2, but methane is incredibly potent at trapping heat, even though it doesn't stick around quite as long.
So getting precise, real-time data is, well, vital.
Absolutely vital.
Okay, so you've laid out just how critical this mission was, and the tech sounds amazing, really positioned to bring new transparency, which brings us to the paradox here. Despite this $88 million loss, the EDF is actually calling it, get this, a remarkable success with lasting influence. How can losing this incredibly expensive, vital satellite possibly be framed as a success?
It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Completely. What did it manage to find in its, roughly 1 year of operation? And what does that mean for, our understanding of climate change, for you listening?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Even in that short time it was operational, MethaneSAT apparently delivered some breakthrough stuff. The EDF statement, it points out the mission gained critical insight about the distribution and volume of methane, especially from oil and gas sites.
Okay, so it gathered some usable data.
More than just data. And this is maybe the crucial part. They also developed an unprecedented capability to interpret the measurements from space.
Yeah.
Basically, they figured out how to translate that raw satellite data into actual volumes of methane being released, a really sophisticated processing method.
Ah, I see.
And that capability, they say, is going to be valuable to other missions.
So just to be clear, the actual method, the algorithms, the analytical framework they built, that's not lost. That survived.
It seems to be the core message, yes.
Yeah.
The intellectual property, the brain, as you put it, lives on.
Well, that is a significant silver lining. It means the know-how could potentially speed up future missions, maybe by years.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
That interpretive capability is key.
But okay, beyond the technical achievement, the method, what did it actually find up there? Did the data itself tell us anything fundamentally new about methane emissions?
And this really gets to the heart of why they might call it a success despite the loss. MethaneSAT's observations. They were, quite frankly, astonishing. It found methane levels in some areas that were 10 times higher than what was being officially reported.
Wait, sorry, 10 times, not 10%. 10 times.
10 times, yes. It's a massive discrepancy, not just a small error margin.
Wow. That just completely reframes the picture, doesn't it? For you listening, what does that mean? For things like our carbon budgets or, pressure on industries to clean up.
Huge implications.
That 10 times higher figure suggests some really serious gaps in how we were measuring or reporting before, whether it's old techniques or something else. A blind spot MethaneSAT found.
Precisely. And that kind of hard, real-world data is, well, it's a game changer for accountability. It means previous estimates were likely way off, underestimating the scale of the problem in certain places. That directly impacts how urgently we need to act.
Right. No more hiding behind potentially flawed numbers.
Exactly. It forces a confrontation with the reality on the ground, providing data that can drive policy and push industries towards better practices. So those insights, and especially that powerful interpretation capability they developed, they really do lay a critical foundation for what comes next, even without this specific satellite.
It really is a strange situation. A mission cut short, a huge loss financially, yet its brief life seems to have already shifted our understanding in a pretty major way. Stephen Hamburg, the project lead, he said MethaneSAT was ushering in a new era of transparency and problem solving, and he added, "The climate can't wait." Powerful words.
Very much so.
So, for you, our listener, maybe the final thought is this. Even with a big setback like losing MethaneSAT, what does this whole episode tell us? How much does it underline the need for, well, continued ambitious innovation in watching our planet?
Mm-hmm.
What lessons are there about resilience, about urgency in tackling climate change, especially since the EDF hasn't ruled out launching another one eventually?
Leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Fair
About
bit.
the scale of the challenge and the persistence needed.
It certainly does, the
Yeah.
fight ahead.